Thank you for attending the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce Green Business Network, Green Business Committee. We are going to be talking about the Green Business Network, and I would like to introduce Mike Grimm, who holds several positions with the City of Carlsbad. He's a Senior Programs Manager for the Environmental Management. And also, he is heading up the Carlsbad Green Business Network in conjunction with the City of Carlsbad. And Mike is here today to talk about the Green Business Network, which was rolled out about 6 months ago, but Mike, you can clarify. So Mike, thanks for being here today and presenting on this topic. Take it away.
Hey, well, thank you guys for inviting us. I'd also like to introduce Timaree Nelson. She is the program director. She works for Environmental Innovations, which is also the firm that administers the entire statewide program. So, as Marcy was saying, we launched our local program back in November 2019, and it's part of the statewide California Green Business Network. And it was a really good fit for us, as those of you who have been on the chamber before it was the Sustainability Committee, now Green Business Committee, you know that the city and the chamber have been talking about trying to launch some kind of green business program that helps small and medium-sized businesses become more sustainable, but then also has some kind of recognition program involved in it. And Timaree will go into a little bit more about how do you get certified and such, but I just wanted to start it out with a little bit of an overview. It was a really good fit for us because, as you may know, Carlsbad's community vision, one of our core values is sustainability. And it says expressly in there that city wants to engage in public and private partnership to help with sustainability initiatives, especially energy and water and other conservation. So if it's okay, I will share my screen and we'll see how this goes. Let's see here. Well, let me try that. Let me get some tabs up first. Just one sec here. So this might be a little choppy. Sorry, I thought I could just scroll through the tabs. We'll try it this way. So the Green Business Network has a number of impacts. This is getting to the sustainability. These are some of the stats. And it's precisely because we collect these stats on a statewide basis that California EPA is a major sponsor of the program because we're actually showing that we have tangible results. We've got over 4,000 businesses. We saved, millions of gallons of water, reduced a bunch of GHG, saved energy, diverted a bunch of metric tons from landfill. And that last one there is the real kicker. Even if you're not really into sustainability, participation in this program can help you save a lot of money. So that's one of the big incentives. There's locations around the area. Let me see if I can pull that up. So represented statewide, we've got a number of cities you can see there, number of counties. And then there's other targets, and we were the first jurisdiction within the San Diego County area to be part of the statewide program. There are other green business networks that are operating on the local city level, but we were the first ones on the statewide, and we're working with other jurisdictions to try and, even if they have their own program, try and have them meld into this program here. There's been a lot of press about us, and if you want to learn more about us, we had an ad and a little expose in the Carlsbad Green Business Journal in May, and you can see here our first certified business. Thank you so much, Marcy, for going through it. And I must note that the chamber is also trying to pursue certification for their building as well. And then if you wanted to learn a little bit more about it, in January we had an article also in the Carlsbad Green Business Journal that talked a little about it, and some great comments from Brett about that. It's really supporting the program and why it fits into all of our initiatives. We've got a website, and Timaree can go through this more, but it's, if you just do carlsbadgreenbusinessca.org/City of Carlsbad. Here's one of the many benefits you get is you actually get on this map, and there's There's also a Shop Green business tracker that takes people to your business. And then just to wrap it up here before I turn it over to Timaree, we also have a green business. There's a lot of statewide support, and nowadays more than ever, recovery, resiliency is on top of people's mind. And I'm also part of the San Diego Regional Climate Collaborative, and we're talking to jurisdictions about this same philosophy about, everyone's just thinking short term, just trying to get back in there and see, just get back up to some semblance of normal. But now's really the time you need to start thinking long term. Building resiliency and incorporating sustainability into your business plan is now more important than ever. And it's also important for the jurisdictions to do that. So the Green Business Network has conducted several webinars, and I'll send all these links to you guys so you can take a look at them. Some of the, if you missed any of the other ones, we've got the webinars are still archived down there, but you can see balancing sustainability, safety, and cost savings, crisis management, healthier cleaning and disinfection. So, and then also some other kinds of tips about telework and other kinds of things. So it's not just not just a quick certification of the business and getting your own operations going. You actually become part of a statewide network of other like-minded businesses, and there's a lot of support to offer for that. So with that, I will turn it over to Timaree.
Hi. Okay, so we want to start with a little bit of going into what the certification process entails, but also really quickly, I just want to touch on, since everyone is starting to slowly come back now, how to do that safely, but also sustainably. So it's kind of like some quick highlights from the webinars that we have been doing, which again, we will provide links for them as well. So first of all, saving on utilities and usage. So if you're on a meter, it's a great time to analyze your utility bills that from the past and ongoing for the sections that you were or are paused, because that's a great way to tell if you have any water leakage or if anything's going on that you're losing money in any areas. So that's a great time. Because yeah, definitely if you're having significant usage while no one's there, it definitely indicates something's going on. And tailoring operations, obviously, not only for sanitation purposes and for safety reasons, rolling back hours and changing your hours of operation will obviously save on utilities and usage. Great time for solar installations. If anyone that's been something you've been considering in the past. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that the rate of return right now is definitely shorter because, what's it called? Sorry, lost my train of thought. Because panel costs are actually down right now, which is great. And through 2020, there's still a 26% federal tax credit that'll keep going down every year. So if that's something you've been considering for your business or your home, it's a great time for that. And so a lot of people aren't considering right now, which is perfectly understandable during the current climate, the sustainability aspect of reopening and with COVID. So obviously, besides the obvious safety considerations, we've all been researching about, there are some sustainability ones as well. So when you're considering cleaning and disinfecting, that's something to take into consideration because obviously we're having to do it a lot more. So we actually have the California Green Business Network. Our team did create a great article on the safer, greener alternatives, approved by EPA, of course. We have like a list N that I'm sure some of you have seen. So we have an entire article that we can also link to you along with the webinar series that goes into all of those considerations and how to effectively deactivate the virus, but also try not to hurt the environment as much as you can. So that's then also focus on critical high touch and high traffic areas with those safer alternatives. And again, if you want to look for your own products, make sure to look at key ingredients, active ingredients. because we want to steer towards ones that are citric acid and hydrogen peroxide, lactic acid, alcohol, or sodium bisulfates, and stay away from bleaches when possible. Obviously, it might be, if it's something that's the only thing ready available, obviously go with disinfecting rather than not, but just some tips in case you wanted to try to go for the greener options. And of course, with the COVID outbreak, we did immediately see a lot of good things, good impacts, you know, the clearing of the waterways in Italy and air pollution down. But obviously now a lot of things are coming out about, you know, the single-use plastics. You see all those gloves in the street and all that kind of stuff, and it's not great, but we have to keep in mind that we're all struggling, and we shouldn't feel guilty about putting health and safety first right now as a priority to protect people, and just having the environment in mind as much as we can, and that it's all temporary. The single-use fad that's obviously back right now won't last forever, and we won't lose all the progress that we've made. And if you are pivoting, if your business is pivoting towards using disposables, if you're a restaurant and such, just keep in mind that if you can't go back and use disinfected reusables, to try to use eco products, try to steer away from PLA, compostable plastics, and opt for recycled material rather than those, since Carlsbad doesn't have a composting program. And then also some of our webinars also go through heating, like HVAC, and the safety regards to that and the importance of ventilation, but also goes over some case studies about whether or not HVAC is really a process that contributes to the spread of COVID or not. So some really interesting tips that I hadn't known. But yeah, so that's some safety sustainability guidelines. And then as for how to get certified, simply you just basically go onto our website. We will link any links below, how to get certified. You just click the how to get certified button. We get an email and then we reach out to you directly to kind of facilitate the process for you. It's a very simple process. You go through different audit sections like waste reduction and energy, wastewater, and we go through each sector with you and check off measures that you have to meet. So we're with you every step of the way. We make the process as streamlined as possible. And then you usually do an initial site visit, which we are still doing, having available virtually, with the pivoting for COVID in consideration. So we make that pretty easy for you to do it virtually, just like a FaceTime, Google Meet, whatever, Zoom, to go with it with you, and then just photo verification for some of the measures. And then, yeah, then you'll be recognized with us and join our amazing network that, yeah, Marcy has already joined. So we're very excited about it and to keep going on even in the current times.
And if I could, thank you very much, Timaree. And if I could add a couple other things, you get, we have funding for up to a $500 rebate for some of the stuff that you can do. And also, once you're a certified green business, some of the other partner businesses will offer you discounts. So I think it's Blaisdells or whatever will give you discounts on some of the clean products that sometimes are a little pricier just because they haven't saturated the market yet. And that's kind of one of the goals of the Green Business Network, is not just to certify individual businesses, but to actually develop the market of sustainable materials, cleaning products, and other kinds of things, so that the price can come down and it could be a lot easier for more and more businesses to participate. So
yeah, we also have a Shop Green app. So once the network gets more built in the Carlsbad area, it'll be really easy for consumers to just go on that app and shop, like, okay, I'm looking for a green cleaner, a green photographer, and then you guys will pop up once you're certified.
Fantastic. Anything else, Mike and Timaree?
Nope, that's it. Just happy to answer questions, and we've got folks, you know, on the at least 3, 4 of the pictures here are people that are pursuing certification at their various stages. So feel free to reach out to them and, you know, and see how the experience is going.
Thank you so much, guys. I have a question. So as you guys can imagine, like, one of the things that happened with COVID was the virtual, remote working from home. In our particular case, we were full steam ahead in trying to check all those boxes, and then, we're not at the office. So where do we start when, we resume going back to the office? What if from all that checklist, what do you guys think should be priority? And I'll give you an example. I check off okay, send an email out to make sure that everybody has their computers set up for energy savings. That's done, but we had a few other things to complete, like ordering cleaning supplies and all that kind of stuff that has been put on hold because we're not there. So what are your thoughts, and if you had to do like a post-COVID priority list on that checklist?
I would say for you guys, since you are kind of in the middle of the certification process, rather than you have the whole checklist and you're just figuring out where to start in general, I would say obviously probably want to go for the cleaning products and disinfectants first, just so when you are ready to actually open your doors to the public and not just the workers, that everything is obviously safe and disinfected, the high traffic areas are covered. And after that, though, I don't feel like there's any particular order that you would need to go in, other than what makes sense for you and what you feel capable. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew when you obviously have a lot on your plate.
Yeah, I remember that one of them was like sustainable mobility, had to do with transportation, education, and I don't know if it's said, I can't remember if it's said remote working, but I guess we can check that off.
Even with those, yeah, you can definitely telecommuting options is definitely on our checklist somewhere, which we've definitely all hit now. But yes, I feel like, and yeah, just updated, I guess, transportation education about safety on if any of your members are trying to use public transportation, because that's definitely a pivoted field too,
Yeah.
Yep. And one of the requirements for all businesses, regardless of the type or size, is that you have to develop an environmental policy statement. And in that policy statement, sometimes if you still have a bunch of cleaning supplies that we're not going to make you throw them out, you can transition to newer supplies and other kinds of things. So that environmental policy statement can actually kind of be your roadmap or your strategy on how you're going to get back into the certification process. And it's a nice way to kind of review the measures and then kind of strategize how best to approach it too.
And I believe like on our particular checklist, but that's probably on everybody, there's also like recycling training that we were hoping to do on site for staff and potentially open it up for members. So is there any recycling planning resources online that if we submit to our employees or to members of the chamber, many could check off that list? And especially that it just applied to Carlsbad, because all not recycling is equal, as we've all learned. Different municipalities and cities, counties have completely different recycle process. So is there any resource out there that we could use?
There's definitely a lot of resources out there. I know we have some for statewide considerations for recycling that are some really good trainings, but also I'm sure we could add them together of something that's statewide, but also something Carlsbad specific. I'm sure we can reach out to the recycling department to get you guys the best, more concise training materials. So yes, I'll make a note to email you with that.
Yeah, and I think Waste Management has some stuff too for Lori, so you can see specifically what's what
Lori,
they're doing. Yeah.
So do you have an office here in Carlsbad, or is it the city, or what?
Do you mean Carolina or us?
Do you have an office here in the city, or is it just part of the city itself, the network?
So Mike is currently at the city, and this is one of his many projects, is to head off the Green Business Program. I work remotely because our headquarters with the Green Business Network statewide is up north. So I'm working for a company called Environmental Innovations, helping out the city. But in San Diego, not in up north, down here.
I got a couple of questions, if I may. This is for both of you. How many Carlsbad businesses have signed up, and can you quantify for us what kind of dollar savings they've realized after becoming certified through your program?
Let me check how many we have. I think we're currently, I want to say 15 signed up, 14 signed up in total. And for dollar amounts, Mike, did we do the metrics for Carlsbad specifically?
Yeah, what we do. So there's different kind of phases. You can get a bunch of items done and not be certified, but still realizing some cost savings from that. So, oh, and thanks, see you, AJ. But the only metrics that we gather as far as dollar savings and other kinds of GHG reductions, things like that, is once a business is actually certified. So we do have some of that information available, but we only have 4 certified businesses so far. So, you know, hopefully as we build up, we'll be able to show that. And just as a plug, I think EV charging infrastructure does get you credit for your transportation sector. So, not to steal your thunder, but I thought you might be interested.
Run the metrics, because you can run metrics on specific, like you just have to like go through our website and click certain things. I'm trying to figure out what was our, just our new ones, but I can also include that in the addendum links we send out.
Yeah, for sure. And we can
That's
always
one for you guys. We can say, you know, past businesses on average have saved, you know, $500, $1,500, whatever it is. Just going green earns you green.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe, Mike had presented for the metrics for 2019 for the statewide, the slide that he presented on his screen for the metrics for last year. But that includes like statewide and not just the new program.
Yeah. And it's one of the nice things about this network is that we have sector-specific checklists. So if you're an auto body shop, you're going to have different kind of sustainability initiatives than you are if you're going to be, you know, photography studio or something like that. So that really tailors it, and I think can actually get to the targeted, first of all, sustainability initiatives, but also cost savings based on those different sectors.
and speaking of different sectors, Mike, when we talk about you know, places such as restaurants, how has COVID impacted your efforts with restaurants? For some reason, I feel like people have turned into disposable maybe a little more for fear of contamination. So how could we transition back to how well we were doing? We talked about plastics and the plastic bags at grocery stores. So tell us a little bit about that challenge.
Well, I can tell you the restaurants I've been visiting, trying to support local commerce, and when they're doing takeout, and then also now as they're transitioning into dining, it's been really tough. They were hit hard. They had to completely change everything. Every task required cleaning and disinfecting along the way. I think some of them tried to have paper products and other kind of more environmentally sensitive takeout products. But as time went on, I think budgetary concerns made them go to cheaper stuff, unfortunately. So yeah, they're definitely one. I'm already talking to a few folks that, and I think they're chamber members. If they're not, I'll make sure that I remind them about that. But then once again, putting sustainability and resiliency into your reopening, your relaunching is now more critical than ever. So.
And I've definitely seen a trend of when I reach out to businesses via, I mean, it was mostly via email, which is obviously less successful than door-to-door canvassing anyway. But I've definitely received the percentage of response, and it was just understandable because people are concerned with other things right now, and we're understanding of that. But it's kind of getting to the point where I'm starting to get a little bit more of an active response because I feel like it's kind of trending that way. Also, side note for the plastic bags you mentioned for stores, I didn't even think about this. I'm not sure why, but one of my coworkers was saying that when she goes grocery shopping, she just takes her car, like puts everything back into the cart and tells them not to bag it, and then goes to the car and has her reusable bags there, which means you have to bag it and it takes a little bit more time. But I don't know why I hadn't even thought of that. So I started doing that because, the plastic bags, when they say you can't bring your reusables in there because of contamination, it was really adding up. So just a helpful tip.
And for me, what I noticed that one of my favorite local restaurants, they were using environmentally responsible packaging for takeaway, and I gave them props on social media. So, it's like, it's not much, but it's the getting a reward from your customers that counts. So if you notice somebody's doing it right, I would reward them, kind of like training a dog or a child. Reward good behavior, and just know that hopefully what we're dealing with is temporary. Do you think that's Timaree, Mike, do you think that's kind of like the sense people are having, like they're just kind of overlooking what's happening now because it's hopefully temporary?
I believe so. And obviously, like Mike said, budgetary concerns where you can be mindful of it, but then once you get down to the wire and, rent's piling up, like we understand that it becomes kind of an afterthought. But yeah, just reinforcing having those options in place for people too. So again, any business, whether you guys are certified or not, if you ever have questions about, it's like asking about which product might be greener or a greener alternative for things, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm happy to help you do a little bit of research just for the cause. Because there is definitely always, and like there are also for, especially if you get certified, there are discounts though. Like Blaisdells will give you discounts for paper products that are sustainable. So it's also comparable for price, and you're not suffering on that end, but also you're still, putting out greener products.
And a little important sidebar. So Environmental Innovations, who Timaree works for and runs the program, is a chamber member. So, this is just more of the membership sharing of our resources. So.
Thank you. And Timaree, will you send me a list of links to the webinar series and any articles that I can share? Because what I'll do is I'll distribute it to this committee.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have the webinars and the topics they touch, and then the links if it was a past one or a future one, and then also send the article for the disinfectant cleaners. And also we have our upcoming webinar that's still left. I think it's on June 15th. It's all about disinfecting and like green cleaning, which is going to be a really, really useful one. So tune in.
And there's actually one tomorrow too called Beyond Crisis Management. Oh yeah, that's the one, June 10th. When is June 10th? Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah,
So, and that we shared yesterday on our Facebook page.
perfect, great.
So, yeah, very exciting.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I will also include the contact information for both Timaree and Mike, for those of you who aren't regulars in this committee, when we send out the minutes. So yeah, Timaree, you've been a wonderful resource. So thank you so much. And I'm a sole proprietor. I don't own the building that I rent for my photo studio. So granted, it was probably a little easier for me to get certified. And I know AJ had to leave the meeting and he's a little miffed because I got certified before him. But it's really it's not a painful process, but it's incredibly eye-opening. And it's just PR magic. So, I mean, I'm all about PR and milking it. And so it's up on my website that I'm certified as a green business. And now I can confidently say that I'm a green business, and I have to tell you, people notice that, and it's definitely gotten me attention, and it's doing the job that it's supposed to do. So thank you all. Okay, anything else before we have about 7 or 8 minutes left in the meeting total. So are you feeling complete with your presentation, Mike and Timaree?
I think so. Mike?
Yep. Thanks for the opportunity again.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Okay, so back to our agenda. We are on, let's see, let me share.